I'm releasing my most requested compositions on all streaming platforms, and I wanted to walk you through the process for each one. For today's video, I'm going to work on this piece. These compositions mainly started as improvisations, so I wanted to go back to the MIDI files and show you how I cleaned them up, polished the mix, and published them through CD Baby along with the sheet music so everyone can play them. Here I have a list of my piano compositions. I already worked on the first one and released it. For today's video, I'm going to work on this piece. This is the older Cubase session along with the MIDI, and I had already notated it. But regardless, I'm going to show you how I'm going to notate it in a separate video. For now, I'm going to create a new folder, call it Release. Let's go to Cubase and open up a new session. So I had created a template for, it's a mixing template for my piano compositions. Here it is, Piano UAD Mix Template. And UAD stands for Universal Audio. They have amazing plugins for mixing and mastering. So let's go ahead and do that. And here's the session. I have a piano sample library already loaded in here, and it's called Modern Grand from Hammers and Waves by Skybox Audio. The preset I'm using is called Sensitivo, and I already went in the source and did my own adjustments. Wanted to go with something intimate and not too harsh. That's why you see the velocity curve is a little bit on the low side. Let me just save it. Waves and webs. For now, we need to open the older Cubase session and export the MIDI file. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to go to the older session, activate. This is the MIDI file along with the tempo track. Okay, so now I'm going to select everything and export into a MIDI file. And I'll just keep it in the release folder since that's the folder we're working on. Waves and Webs, MIDI. Save. Okay. That's it. We're done with this stage. So I'm going to close the old file. And now in the new session, I'm going to go up here, File, Import, and here's our MIDI file. And I want to make sure it got all the tempo mapping correct. Yep, it looks like it. So I'm just going to drag this MIDI file into the sample library that we're using. And I'm going to get rid of the older files here. So let's take a listen. Great. So we have the MIDI file, we have the tempo map lined up. Next, I'm going to go and listen to it section by section and try to clean it up as best as I can. Maybe even rework some sections that I didn't like at the time. So I pretty much listened to the whole thing a couple times, and I don't think there is much to clean up. I'm pretty happy with the way it is. I actually remember this one was one of the few ones that I kind of improvised, but at the same time I went back to each section and cleaned it up and just kind of like did a lot of composing rather than just playing, if that makes sense. I want to jump to the next stage and show you how I mixed this. So if we open up our mixing window, you'll see here, this is the piano track and this is the master track. I bypassed all the plugins. I'll play it each time I activate a plugin. Right now, if I play it dry, you know, it sounds nice, but I'm gonna add this Super Plate by Sound Toys, one of my favorite plugins. I just added a simple reverb just to add more body to the piano. It's at 1 second tail. I cut a little bit of the low end and the high end. I'm just mixing just a tiny bit of the wet signal, that's it. So let me play it from more staccato part so you hear the difference. So this is without. Now moving to the master chain, I put the Pultec EQ, and it's just basically it's doing some low end boost and high end boost. And I added the Telectronics LA2A silver compressor. And this is the Capital Chambers, another layer of reverb. And I just went with the piano reverb preset with a little bit of adjustment. The next one on the chain is the Studer A800 tape recorder. This is one of my favorite things. It kind of adds analog tape emulation. And again, very subtle settings, you know, it's kind of like on the minimum settings here. So okay, and the next one, I added the Manley Massive Passive EQ. And the last thing I added was Ozone 11, and I'm just basically using the maximizer. I know there's a bunch of stuff here, but really the biggest section I focused on here was the maximizer. So before, and it's gonna get louder. So I have the learn input gain here at -9 LUFS. So I added some gain, 8% soft clip to the mids, and upward compression just a little bit. All right, I'm pretty happy with it. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna export this into an audio file. And I wanna make sure it starts right away. So we're gonna start it from here. Maybe a little bit closer. That's good. What about here when it ends? Yeah, I want to speed this up. I don't want to wait this long. This is great. Okay, time to export. So go to File, Export, Audio Mix Down. Let's go to the release folder that I created. Mix down. Save. And I want to make sure it's at 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit. Those are the settings that all digital streaming platforms go with. And export audio. Now that we have the final audio file, I want to show you how we're going to release it on CD Baby. Alright, so I'm going to go to CD Baby's main website. And I have an account with them. If you don't, you can easily create one. So log in. Here's my dashboard. I'm just going to click on Add New Release, and it's going to be a single. They also have the option called Boost Distribution Bundle. It provides you with additional services. But for these tracks, I'm just going to go with a standard single release. Artist name, single title, release date. They always recommend to give it 3 weeks or 4 weeks. I don't really want to wait that long, so I'm just going to do it August 15th. Record label, copyright owner, it just defaults to the artist name, so I'm just going to leave it blank. UPC barcode. So it says a UPC barcode is a unique 12-digit identifier for your album or single. Every album and single needs a UPC. If this is a re-release, you probably already have a UPC and should enter it here. But in this case, it's a new single, so I'm just going to ask it for a free UPC. Save to cart. And they explain a little bit more about the Boost service. I'm just going to say maybe later. And let's see, Leon Tomasian, Waves and Webs, standard single. I like the Here Now service because what they do is they actually create kind of like a Linktree website. Your fans will be able to click on that link and it shows them all the DSP platforms on there. So it's very easy and convenient for them to go on there and just pre-save your track. That's why I'm just going to add that service. It's only $24 for 1 year. All right, so this is a total. Check out. And pay. So after you pay, you get the order confirmation. And then when you go to the dashboard, down below, you'll see it says incomplete releases. So this is pending. And what you should do is you click on view and edit. And you just kind of go down this list. You check whatever has an exclamation point and fill in all that information there, including adding a release cover art. It does say minimum of 1400 by 1400 pixels. All right, so I'm going to go to the picture now and resize it in Photoshop. So I'm going to go to image, image size. It's at 1024, so I have to bump it up to 1400. As long as it's above 1400, you should be fine. And here we just need to drag and drop the art. Okay, save and continue. And this is where we're going to have the audio file uploaded. So while it's uploading, you can see here, it says upload high quality files in either WAV or FLAC format. Files must be stereo, 44.1 kilohertz sample rate, and 16-bit. So that's why we made sure in Cubase when we were exporting, the audio file had these settings. Okay, so the file is uploaded, save and continue. So we'll just go down the list one by one. And in this case, we already uploaded the picture, the audio file. Now let's click on composition type. Who was the artist on this track? Leon Tomasian. Does this track include explicit lyrical content? No. Language of lyrics doesn't apply. Is this track a live version? No. Composition type, original composition. And songwriter information, we just have to add our name for full ownership. What did Leon Tomasian contribute to this track? Music. What percent of Waves and Webs does Leon Tomasian own? 100. Does Leon Tomasian have a publisher for Waves and Webs? No. Alright, for the digital distribution options, I'm just going to leave it on the default settings, which comes with all these platforms, including Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube. I'll leave everything checked. Save and continue. Partner artist IDs. If this is your first time publishing a track, you'll have to set up your artist page on each of these platforms. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. There's some other ones. I remember actually setting up all my pages so that everything is, consistent. So if you haven't done that, make sure you sign up for all of these accounts and set up an artist page with them. Continue. Yeah, sell my music everywhere, please. Okay, and here we have social video monetization. I wish I can opt in for all of them, but for some reason this genre that I'm writing in, which is like classical piano, monetization on these platforms are not available. So even though I'm going to click on opt-in for all monetization options, it'll probably send me a message later and say monetization is unavailable for your genre. But anyway, I'm just going to click on them and save and continue. And here you have the option of selecting your favorite 60 seconds of the track. I'm just going to leave it at the first 60 seconds because I kind of like that contrast of like starting slow and then speeds up. More about the Boost services. It kind of shows you what they do is like they collect all mechanical royalties, publishing royalties, earn digital performance money, and license for sync money. Next thing we need to do is we go to the genres and select what genre our track is in. For the main category, I'm just going to click on classical, piano solo. Oh yeah, this is kind of the warning you get here. This genre cannot be delivered to some social video monetization platforms, including YouTube, Facebook. So it's fine. I'm just going to keep it that way. Genre number 2. I wish I could leave it blank, but I don't think it lets me. So I'll just go with jazz. For mood and style, I think since, again, it's piano, I'm just going to go with instrumental. Location, United States, California. Tell us which famous artists you sound like. Let's see, I had given this a thought, and I'm going to go with Debussy, Beethoven, and I don't know, maybe I'll put Ludovico Einaudi. Alright, so it took us back to the main dashboard page, and all we have left to do is read the service agreements, agree to them, and sign. Save. And the final thing you're going to do is submit for distribution. I'm ready to submit for distribution. Thank you, your release is now in the inspection queue. A member of our team will be inspecting your release shortly. That's it. Congratulations. We have just released our second single. I'm really excited about this piece to be released. Make sure you stay tuned for it. So as you saw, I clicked on August 14th for the release day. In the meantime, I'm going to be working on this video, editing it, and probably creating some shorts for marketing purposes. Thank you so much for watching this far, and I hope this was helpful to you. Please comment down below if you have any questions or if I forgot to mention anything. I'm going to be making more videos like this, and stay tuned for the next video as I'm going to be walking you through the process of notating this piece. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video.